All right, buddy. Thanks for joining me again. Um, I'm Troy Sinclair. I got Blaine Glenn here with me. We've got some of our website information down below. Anybody wants to join the newsletter, get insider information, you want to see more blogs, you want to get updates on when we release new content, join the newsletter, go to our website, comment on our information. We would love to respond to anything that you got to say. If you have specific questions, let us know.
Yeah.
This is the third part of a three-part sequence. And I'm looking at my notes over here. The three parts were mindset, plus skill set, plus action equals success. So basically, we're say that again.
It's our success formula.
One of the success formulas for sure.
Yeah.
But it's definitely key when it comes to somebody wanting to build a home-based business.
Right.
Okay. And specifically if somebody wants to be in the networking industry, granted, I will tell you there's two modes. There's two modes for building a home-based business. You've got one mode where you're building a list and you're really not communicating verbally with your people. You've got email, video, audio, and you're constantly communicating that way. Then there's the other mode where you're actively engaged. You still got email, you still got video, you still got audio, and you've got that internet communication going, but you add the element of you.
Right.
You're calling people, you're speaking to people, you're getting on conference calls, you're training your team, you're actively engaged in the process. And really what we're focused on here today is the action as it relates to building your team. Okay, we have a whole different series. We have a whole different segment on this other kind of building where there's really non-contact involved. But for today, we're going to talk about action from that perspective.
Yes.
So, Blaine, why don't you start off? Give me some of your feedback in terms of, what kind of actions have you found is important when it comes to either engaging with your customers or developing sales or being able to have contact in building your business.
So what kind of actions? Okay. And this is really not even just for the networking business, but any business. The biggest action is just getting out there and communicating with your people, I think is number one.
Yep.
But what I think is even maybe more important, well, maybe not more important, but equally as important, is the best action is action in general. Just do something. Because if you've got a list and you're building a whole bunch of people and you're not talking to them at all, it's inevitably going to implode on itself, right? Where if you're making some kind of action, even if it's imperfect action, even if it's non-rehearsed, it's not really thought about, you're still making an action and you'll get a better result than making no action at all. And I think that, to me, that's a key point.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up because I have coached a number of clients over the years, and one of the big topics that people say to me is that I am frozen because they feel like something's got to be perfect.
Yeah.
They're afraid that if I don't put it together properly, if I don't put it together right, I'm going to look like a fool. This video is going to look terrible. Even right now, I could sit here and go, and get, and give thought to something, and somebody could be sitting there watching it going, doesn't this guy know what he's talking about?
Yeah.
But the reality is, like you said, doing something, getting in gear, doing something is better than doing nothing. We're going to talk about it's actually going to be one of the very next videos that we do. I've got it written down in the notes. We're going to call it something along the lines of it's going to be 90-day plan, 90-day blogging plan, 90 days to success.
Right.
The fact of the matter is that we're going to talk about in this video that even if you do things all half-assed and do them completely wrong and stumble and fumble over yourself for 90 days, we're going to show you how to build an organic business.
Right.
by simply taking daily action. Okay, so the reality is now when it comes to the networking business, as far as actions are concerned, you got to have leads coming in. You got to follow up with those leads. You've got to reach out and make some sort of connection, whether it be a video welcome, whether it be an audio welcome or an email welcome. I really think that we're in an era here today that people are actually better off using either audio or video.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, we can send emails, and emails are cool. And by the way, in the Rocket Power line, if somebody decides to join, we have a whole 30-day email response system that's already pre-designed for people. Okay,
Yeah.
Professionally copywritten, so people don't have to worry about putting together emails if they want to be a part of the Rocket Power line. But what we recommend is that you put together a short video, you introduce yourself, you say hello to your people, and you continually engage. For example, if you go out and generate a bunch of leads and then you never call those leads, well then you're in a spot where you're doing nothing.
Yeah.
How do they say it? Nothing plus nothing equals nothing.
Right.
It's like you've got to have an action plan, and you've got to decide. For example, one of the key components with an action plan is somebody has to decide what hours of the day am I going to run my business. Someone might work 9 to 5. They might get home by 5:30. They might decide to spend from 5:30 till 7 o'clock with their family, with their kids.
Yeah.
And then from 7 to 9, 7 to 9:30, 7 to 10, they spend working on their business.
And this constant action, it's building their momentum.
Yeah.
Which is key. Even if it's imperfect or whatnot, they're going to be building momentum, and it's going to be easier and more fun every day.
Yep. And if anybody listening to this has questions about, hey, what actions should I be taking? We have a coaching program that helps people with this type of action building process. If somebody decides to join the Rocket Power line, they're going to get instruction through that. And if you're not necessarily a part of one of our businesses, but you're working with somebody, find out from whoever your mentor is, find out what actions are applicable for your business.
Yeah.
Okay, and this applies, of course, to all businesses. Whether if you're selling cars, you're selling insurance, you're in the financial industry, you've got to have a daily action plan as to how you're going to put leads into your funnel, how you're going to follow up with those leads, and how you're going to convert those leads into sales. So that's really the simplicity of it, and I would say that one of my favorite quotes. This is from Tony Robbins. And here I am about to blunder the quote, actually. Tony Robbins basically says, massive action. Massive action equals massive results. And, let me say this. This is part of a 3-step process. We talked about mindset, skill set, and action equals success. And I'm going to tie this back into mindset because I think one of the core ingredients to end off here is that you got to know why it's important. I first learned the why formula from Jim Rohn. Tony Robbins talks a lot about the why formula. And both Tony and Jim and many other speakers out there who talk about the why formula is, some people say 80, some say 90, some even say 95%. Of what you accomplish boils down to why.
Yeah.
Not how. The how is easy, but if you say to yourself and you work out with your family that, hey, I'm going to be running my home-based business from 7 to 9 every night, Monday through Thursday, and then maybe from 6 to 9 on Sundays, and you develop an action plan, and then you find when 7 o'clock rolls around, you find you're having a hard time getting into action. You're having a hard time picking up the telephone. You're having a hard time making a phone call. You're having a hard time getting engaged in the business. It usually boils down to not having a big enough why.
Yeah.
You really got to look at, and you really got to talk through with your family. What are your goals? Why are you doing this? What kind of future do you want to create for yourself and your family? If you can really work out that, and you've got something that creates a burning passion, a burning desire, something that gets you up early, like the difference between somebody who exercises on a daily basis or doesn't, the guy's got a big enough why.
Yeah.
He's created a strong enough habit because of his big enough why.
Right.
Okay, so with that said, everything comes back to the why factor, which comes back to the mindset, which comes back to the skill set, and comes back to the action. So it's a full ongoing moving circle of mindset, skill set, and action.
Mm-hmm.
So with that said, my friend, any last thoughts on action here today?
Yeah, I think that is the key. You summed it up really well, and going back to mindset again, figure out your why, and it needs to be powerful. It can't be because I want more money.
Yeah.
It's to be providing for somebody, or it has to be something just huge that will, like you said, make you stay up late and get up early, and really have the passion and the burning desire.
Yeah. I don't know why. I wish Blaine that we as human beings would be willing to do as much for ourselves as we would for others. But the fact is that when it comes to the why, most people are really willing to do more for others than they are themselves.
I agree.
They're willing to, provide a greater education for my children. I want my wife to not have to work.
That actually reminds me, you talked about Jim Rohn a second ago. He had the quote, he says, "I'm going to make myself better for you." And it's one of his things. He's always saying, "I'll make myself better for you because it's important."
Yeah, big time. So when you're thinking about the why, even though there are a lot of self-help people that will say, you should lose weight for yourself or you should improve for yourself. The fact is that sometimes we're willing to do things, way more powerfully for our kids. Mm-hmm. I'm willing to become better today so I can create a better future for my children.
Right.
So very powerful stuff. We actually have, not sure where it's available. If you want to join our newsletter, we actually have a whole goal setting process. So one day you'll probably get an email if you come onto our newsletter that we actually have a free goal setting process that if somebody wants to come through it one of these days, you'll get an upcoming email if you join our newsletter list. And we help people to engage in this process of figuring it out. So, all right, buddy. We'll talk to you soon, man.
Thanks.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.